value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great episode of the CEO Show. This is the 18th show. Remember, this is a show that always comes to you every Tuesday from 7:30 to 9. And the main objective of this particular show is always to bring to you great personalities from different business industries. People are going to share their experience, they're going to share their stories, and most importantly, the lessons that comes with the journey in growing different empire. I am your host, Dan. Our guest tonight is one of the amazing people that I've interacted for quite some time. And today is quite amazing because today I'm hosting and interviewing also my lecturer. It is quite amazing. Our guest tonight is Mr. Simon Wamu, who is the director of King's College of Accountancy and also the founder of Irui Foundation, that is Irui non-governmental organization, which is a non-profit making organization. And also, he is a founder and also the CEO of Maryland Islands Academy. Today we are talking about education. You're talking about what is the interest in the education industry, what kind of business that you need to venture as far as education is concerned. He'll be sharing about his journey in growing and managing these different businesses. And from this experience, you're going to learn. It will always very inspirational, very insightful, and very educational. We are coming to you live on Facebook, on our Facebook page, the CEO Live Show. And also, we are live on YouTube and TikTok. We are also live. Remember, for you to be part of this conversation, please don't hesitate to share for somebody to know that you're watching. And also, drop a comment for us to know where you are watching from. Mr. Wamu, karibu.
Asante sana.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel being on the CEO Show?
Well, I feel good.
Okay.
I feel energetic and enthusiastic for you hosting me here, and it's a privilege. Thank you so much.
People have been saying, Mr. Wamu, tell us about your background. Where have you been? Just share your journey.
Well, I have an interesting journey, and quite a few people know about how I grew up. If that's the journey you want to,
definitely.
Yeah, like you rightly said, I'm Simon Wamu, and I am a co-founder of King's College of Accountancy here in Eldred, and we shall have a lot of time to speak about that. Yeah. I am also, as you rightly said again, I'm also a founder of a non-governmental organization that also plays in the education space. I'm also, as you said, founder of a school that is providing access to quality education to children. Okay. Yeah, so growing up, I was born and raised in the village, and I'm proud to say so, because it is the village that raised me that inculcated the principles that drive me in all aspects of my life. Yeah, like I've watched the CEO Live show, and most of the guests that have showcased this show have interesting stories. Most of them have come from really humble backgrounds, just like me, and they have gone ahead to create transformation within their cycles of influence and I share a lot with most of them. I was born in a village in Kakamega County.
Okay.
Yeah, Butere Mumias, and all my education, especially the basic education, that's primary and high school, was actually I did them in around where I was born. So growing up, as I said, I faced a lot of challenges, and I'm happy that they contributed a lot to what I'm doing now. And just like an ordinary village boy, I had to contend with a lot of struggles, going to school on foot, and it's barefoot. I came to put on the first shoe, I think, in school. It was in high school. And along that journey, I had struggles with fees. And I did not really blame the parents that I had that time, because they tried as much as possible to provide the foundation, encouraging us to go to school and ensuring that in spite of the challenges that we were facing, we could get an education to the level with which they could afford. So I completed primary school. And I passed, not really highly, not with flying colors as people say, but to the extent of passing an exam, I passed well, and then I proceeded to high school. And perhaps what I remember so vividly is that while the rest of the of my colleagues, schoolmates, classmates, that is Form 1 high school. The first day, Form 1, everybody comes with new books, new shoes, new uniform, and new everything. But here, this boy comes to school, first day, shoes used. In fact, it is my brother, my elder brother, who actually gave me the shoes. And then,
so that was... talking about it now, that was your first time wearing a pair of shoes. Umeingia high school?
Not really, not the first time wearing a shoe, but the first time wearing a shoe in school.
In school.
But I would wear a shoe, these ones that they call sandal. These ones, they sometimes they would not fit because we would share, or the boys would share the shoes. We would never know whose shoes is this. And yeah, so I'm talking about that second-hand shoe that I was given by my elder brother, so that I could join school, because my parents couldn't afford the fees, the books, and all the inputs to get me to school. To high school. So my brother had to source for even the shirt, even the whole uniform. It was actually, I remember the trouser was bought from a student who had just completed high school, and coincidentally, he was the same size as me at that point, although I had to redesign it a little bit to fit. So
you didn't experience the fancy thing of going for shopping.
But I cared less. You see, I cared less because I knew that it was so important for me to join high school. I was happy at that point. I was just happy that I'm joining high school. I cared less about whether I would have preferred to have new stuff. But I understand exactly the situation that we were in, and the fact that I was joining high school was reason enough to make me happy. So irrespective of what I was wearing on, putting on, and in terms of the uniform and the shoes and stuff, the only new thing that I had, I think, it was the books, because I wouldn't carry the primary books that I had to high school. So,
which high school was that?
I went to 2 high schools, and there's a story behind that. I went to Musanda High School, Musanda Secondary School.
That was your first one?
That was my first school. It was a fairly good school, and due to some reasons, especially relating to fees and stuff like that. I was forced to
go to the
to
second.
go to another school, and I missed national exam.
Form 4.
Yes,
Okay. Reason being?
fees, of course. It was fees. I hadn't paid fees, and I couldn't afford the registration fees, and therefore the school couldn't register me. So I had to contend with that situation. But I still went to school. Many times I had to be sent away from school, spend a lot of time at home. Sometimes I could go to school. When the gods aligned, I would be left to study. But most times I would go back to school and help my parents to till land, while my colleagues studied. But I never gave up. I never gave up, because the last thing I wanted to do was to give up, because I wouldn't be who I am. Education actually saved me.
And finally you did your KCSE.
Finally I did my KCSE, and I remember I was almost losing out again a second time. This is what happened. You see, my elder brother had completed high school. We followed each other. My elder brother was in Form 4, and the brother that I followed was in Form 3, and I was in Form 2. So my elder brother completed high school, and then he was employed somewhere, just a menial job, so he wasn't like getting a lot of money. But when I couldn't do the exam, and I was forced to go to a school that was relatively new. In fact, our year, we were the second people to sit the exam. So what happened is that the deadline, the very last day for registration, I remember, I can't remember the teacher who it was. He came to our class and told us that this, as you know, this is the last day, and if you have not registered, I'm sorry, you are going to miss out, but there is another chance for you to do the exam next year. Unfortunately, we are only going to register those people who have already paid the registration fees. And I knew that he was actually telling me that message was directed at me.
That was directed
It was directed at me. Of all the students that were in that class, I knew that message was mine.
How was the feeling?
It was terrible. It was really terrible, because you see your colleagues looking at you. They know, because I had already confided in them that I haven't registered yet, and they look at you and like with a lot of sympathy, and it's it's such a bad feeling. I literally cried, but the tears actually flew inside, not outside. And at that moment, I did something that was really a turning point. When the teacher left, I also left, and I went to the principal's office. I told him that I missed the exams last year, and it's almost obvious that I'm going to miss this exam. Is there a way that I could actually get registered to do this exam? And he said, it is not possible. Are your parents at home? I said, yes. Go call one of the parents. I borrowed a bike, and then
went home.
Yes, went home quickly, and it was quite some distance. So I went home, found I did not find my parents, and I knew where my mom was. I knew perhaps my mother would be the easiest to convince the principal. So I went straight to where she was. She was tilling land, and I told her that the principal wants to see you. The principal wants to talk to you, and kindly, when you get there, please say whatever you can, but let me do the exam. And then she said, we don't have money, but we will go. So I carried my mom. I remember that episode so well. And the bicycle that I had did not have a carry. Is it a carry or whatever?
The carrier.
Yeah, the carrier.
Yeah.
So I had to now use is it the arm?
So your mother sat on the do you
Just
call the
close
frame?
to on the frame. Just
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And you can
And you
imagine.
cycle.
And I cycled.
Uh-huh.
So we would cycle, and she would. You see, it's a frame, and it's really painful. She would say, "No, I'm really pained. Could we?"
And
just
how
walk?"
far was the school from home?
It was around. Was it around 3 kilometers? It was
Quite
really
some distance.
Quite some distance. And then so I went. And then we
So
would.
while you were cycling, what is it that was running across your mind?
Exams. I couldn't see myself missing for the second time. So I decided to when we got to school, we headed straight to the principal's office, and it was an emotional kind of spectacle. So the principal told my mother that your son, the reason why I called you here was to let you know that your son is going to miss the exam, but he's still young. He can still resit for the exam because we are only registering people who have paid for the exam. Your son hasn't even paid fees, let alone the exam. So we will have considered if you will have paid the exam, and then we will talk about fees later. But we have allowed your son to be in class, but he hasn't paid fees, so I'm sorry. Just go back home with your son. He'll do the exam next year when things are okay. Then my mother looked at me and told me, in my mother tongue, told me, son, you've had your principal. He's right. You are still young. There's still a whole world awaiting your exploration. Don't give up. You're going to do this exam and God will help you. I said, Mom, I understand. Thank you so much. It's well. I'll do it next year. No problem. Then we left. Only for one teacher to call me back and ask me. He might have been listening to us. Asked me what the issue was, and he said, okay, fine. He told my mom, you go home. Let your son be. He'll join you at home. Then at that point, to cut the long story short, I was registered, and I told the principal that, thank you for registering me. I know I've not paid fees. I haven't even completed the exam fees. However, I don't know when I'm going to clear these fees, but it is me who is going to clear. I'll get a job. It could be 10 years, it could be 20 years, it could be 5 years. It could be after I've done the exam, but I'll clear it. True to my word, when I got a job, I saved to go and clear the fees. I cleared the fees. After it was around 3 years, it was around after 7, 8 years thereabouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after Form 4, what happened next?
After Form 4, I went to Kisumu before the results came, and I remember it was my brother who told me how I had performed. I had missed to join the university by a single point, and it broke me because I knew if I got the required points to get straight to the university, I would then it would be easier for me because I would be eligible for help and government support, and it would really be a turning point for me. But I didn't get it. So I was like wondering, how am I going to then study? I cannot just settle at the high school level. I started working menial jobs. I would go hustle, what people say hustling, and with an expectation of saving money for my college. That money was not adding up. Then,
what was your first manual job? You can remember.
I think I worked at a milling factory, and I would pack flour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pack the flour and then.
How much were you paid?
70 bob per day. Yeah, but I was staying with my auntie, so I wasn't spending a lot of money, perhaps just a few things, but most of the money I used to just for my own personal effects and also to save for college. I was deliberately saving for college because I knew I wanted to study.
Okay, now talking about college, what did you have an idea of what you want to go and pursue in college?
Well, so first of all, I think in grade 4 or 5, when a teacher asks you what you want to be in future, I actually wanted to be an assistant chief.
Naibu chief.
Yeah, so do you know why? Because on my way to the primary school, I would pass close to the chiefs, to a certain home, and that home looked good. That home looked better than any home.
Than your home?
Not even my home is just like far, but than any home around my area. And therefore, I wanted to associate with success. And I associated success with the home that I saw. So I wanted to have a home like that. And I would ask people, what does the owner of this home do? They will tell me this is an assistant chief. I say, oh, when I grow up, I want to be an assistant chief. So we are shaped. I learned over time that we are shaped. The visions that we have, the perceptions that we have, are actually shaped by the environment within which we grow.
True.
So I wanted to be an assistant chief. Fast forward, high school, first, second day, the teacher comes to class and delivers forms. You can write there your names, your expectations, and what you want to become. I didn't know what I wanted. I had long forgotten that I wanted to be an assistant chief. Now I wanted to be, is it a pilot? I think, yes, I wanted to be a pilot because everybody was saying pilot. So I wanted to be a pilot at some point. Then high school, we are filling forms to join the university, and you have to choose 3 courses and 3 universities. I remember I chose Moi University to study law, Maseno University to study information technology, and it must have been Nairobi University, no, Kenyatta University, teaching.
Okay.
I'm doing none of the, okay, I'm teaching, yes, but I didn't train as a professional teacher. I discarded law because I didn't get the required marks.
Points.
So what I wanted to become actually was not really clear with me, because it depended on the situation at that moment. Now, after high school, I decided to study accounts. Not that it's something I wanted to do. Far from it.
So after saving
small money, I traveled from Kisumu direct. I went home to receive my parents' blessings, of course, and then came to Eldoret. Do you know, I had came to Eldoret, I had saved, was it 13,900? And I joined college, and it only lasted 1 semester. That 13,000 lasted 1 semester. I didn't have money to pay for the next semester, neither did I have money to even pay for rent and food.
At that point now you're studying accounts?
Yes. So what I did was to go. I wasn't studying accounts. I had joined an IT called IT, Information Technology. It lasted for only one semester. That's why I'm telling you, I didn't know. I didn't have like a direction of what I wanted to do. I realized what I wanted to do. I'll tell you within the show how I realized that I was born to do something else. Now, what I did was I sought for employment. I went to an academy around where I stayed, and I asked for work. Can I help teach computers for these children, because the school had introduced computers? The proprietor accepted, said, where have you done your KCC? Yes, I finished KCC. And what did you score? I scored a B minus. And she looked at the performance. Why are you not in school? I said I had joined an IT college, but I couldn't proceed because I didn't have the fees, but I have the passion to help the children. I think I can do a good job. He trusted me. I got an opportunity, not just to teach computers, but I was also given lessons. I taught Kiswahili, I taught science, I taught every subject on earth. And I did. I've never worked so hard in my life like I worked at that level.
Because that was the only option that
it was like a do or die. I had to die there. I worked so hard. People who worked with me would attest. I would go to school very early in the morning, leave in the evening, because I wanted to perform, to increase my salary. And you know how much it was? I never fear to tell people it was 2,000 shillings. And that 2,000 shillings...
That was now your first salary.
Exactly. My official salary.
Were wages.
Yes. The official. And I was so happy. It was so... Like, at the end of the month, I'm going to get money. I didn't care how much it was.
But something was...
But something was... And I was also waking up early to go and teach and work. So, I worked after a month or so. The salary increased because I was so dedicated, 2,500, within a year, 4,000. And I worked so hard to the extent that I performed so exemplary, to the extent that I was invited. I was poached, they used poaching by another school to offer the services. It was a very hard decision because I had really established a strong connection in my present. But man has to live.
That's true.
Isn't it?
Very true.
I was promised double salary and the rent was being paid for me. So I had no choice but to leave. But I was so honorable, I went to the proprietor, the current employer, and told her, Mom, I used to call her Mom, we've worked so hard, we've worked together, but it has come to a time that I have to leave. Please allow me. Allow me, I don't want to just go. Allow me to leave, and we could always support each other in one way or another.
And you moved.
And she was really adamant, but I had to go. I went and worked again well, and I started saving money now for college, real college. I joined KCA University.
At that point now you had developed interest in accountancy.
Yes. No, I had not developed interest in accountancy. It's so interesting. I teach accounts, but I have to be very honest. I had not developed interest in accountancy, but I had developed interest in pursuing education, whatever it was that was to come my way. And I went to the college and looked at some brochures, and it will give me time to study part-time as well. So I joined the KCA college here in Eldred, and I started CPA Section 1. But I was doing part-time, so I wouldn't combine every semester. 3 subjects every semester, 3 courses, and I was passing. Not that I was intelligent, far from it. I wasn't intelligent. It was the reason pushing me. I couldn't afford to fail any single paper. Why? Because failing a single paper means that you are going to pay more money. I didn't have that money. I was struggling, so I had to pass. Whatever. In whatever way, by all means, I had to pass.
Failing was expensive.
Failing was so expensive, and it wasn't an option. I didn't have any plan A, plan B, so I passed all the papers. But now, when I got to the advanced level, that is section 5,
6.
then I had been passing, and then say, oh, CPA is not very hard. I've been passing, so I'll just pass. Then I was referred. I got a fail. Yeah, then reality hit me. Oh, people fail actually. So I had to redo it again. I took it seriously and finished. Then immediately I finished CPA, I got employment as an accountant. I worked as an accountant.
The same institution?
No. I left that institution. And because I worked so well, do you know what happened? The proprietor of that institution, and he was a famous runner here in Eldred. He was the proprietor. I really thank him. He actually organized us is it send off farewell party for me. You see, a very dedicated, very competent employee is leaving, but you are doing you are conducting a farewell party for him.
Okay.
And he asked me to give him at least a month for him to look for my replacement.
Okay.
So he got a job as an accountant, and to be honest, I didn't really like it. I worked so hard. I established a very good accounting system. The statutory deductions, the NSSF and HIF and all the statutory deductions were really kind of not so well organized. I saved the company a lot of money in terms of tax, to the extent that I was awarded 20,000 shillings for having saved the company.
That was a great motivation.
Yes.
Okay.
And then after 4 months or so, I quit. Why? To come back to teaching, because I realized that I'm better served. I love teaching. I love empowering people. I was, as an accountant,
rather than sitting in an
as
office.
an accountant, I went to work at 8, leave at 5. It became routine.
Okay.
And even though I had the competence to do that, and I did a very good job, but it wasn't just ticking my box.
Okay.
So I had to come back.
You resigned and now
I
come to
resigned,
class.
and then came to, now not primary, I now started teaching college, because I had already completed CPA, and I started teaching.
Okay.
And
You are now a lecturer.
I was now a lecturer. Yes. So I taught, and I realized that this is where my passion actually lies. And my 3 of my colleagues and myself decided to start a college,
Okay.
our own.
Okay, hold on. Before now we get into starting a college and what is it that prompted you to start a college, I can just go through some of the comments from our viewers this evening. We have Scott Stanley who is saying, Nicolives, say hi to Mr. Wamu on behalf. We keep rolling for better. We have Rono, Nicolive watching till the end. Nick Lembuch, Simon Wamu, a great man indeed. We have John Ewoy, my principal and mentor at King's College of Accountancy. I'm proud of you here in Turkana County. Blessings. We have my MIS lecturer, God bless you, sir, from Kiprono M. Langat. We also have Festus Tonyok, who is saying my principal at KCA. Oh, you want a principal? Okay, we'll talk about that. He really understands challenges that students face. I salute you, sir. Live watching from Mogotio, Baringo. Also, we have Philo Lama who is saying episode 18 live. Thank you, Philo. We have Macheke D. Gilbrand who is saying, my Ebo tax and ICT lecturer. God bless you, Mwalimu. What you told us in class is a true revelation of what you are giving out today. Mercy saying that this is the man that made me to succeed in life. I really respect him. We also have Robert Chelal saying, quite inspiring, watching live from Iwakaka, Uganda. This is directly from Uganda. My Hebo principal in King's College of Accountancy recently this evening taught has 3 economical awards, however, or, and. God bless you a lot. I think the comments are quite enormous and they're coming in many. We have here Hammond Chief saying, tune in, great inspiration. We have Isaac who is saying, Mr. CEO Dandan, congratulate to me, my great MIS lecturer, then later Director King's College of Accountancy. We'll still be, just tell us where you're watching from and also your regards to our guest tonight, so that will be ready out shortly. Now, talking about now with your colleagues starting a college, what is it that brought you guys together? Because in every partnership, and surprisingly, most of our guests that we've been having all through, most of them have been sole proprietors, but tonight we have you as a partner in King's College of Accountancy. What is it that brought you guys together?
First of all, it's about the alignment of vision the alignment of the passion to inspire students, and the perfect alignment of friendship. So that is what inspired us, the four of us, to sit down and found the college.
Okay.
It was really driven by our desire to provide opportunities to so many students, high school students, who often miss opportunities for higher learning due to the function of high exorbitant fees being charged by already established institutions.
Okay.
We wanted to create a space where these high school students, and not only high school students, other even working class, because we have also part-time classes, to provide an opportunity for these students to get this high quality professional training at very low cost and at a space that was friendly and conducive for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the four of you, were you lecturing at the same place?
Exactly, yes.
Or how did you come to meet?
Yeah, of course we were at the same place, and we had established very strong friendship.
Okay.
And
now your employer during staff room times used to think that you guys were were revising and discussing about classes, but you guys were planning something.
No, not really. It was it will seem like so,
okay.
But it wasn't like that. Okay. And it is never an intention to really sabotage someone's efforts. Mm-hmm. We were very intentional on what we wanted to do, mm-hmm. And we really ensured that the transition from our former employer, mm-hmm. was as smooth as it can be, because we respect them, okay. We respect the employer, and we value them because they gave us a platform. Mm-hmm. But we wanted also to contribute, just like them, to human capital development.
Okay, okay.
It wasn't like a zero-sum game that if I succeed, then they fail. It was like a win-win situation, because if we could pull resources together on the side, then we could provide the services. Because if we are actually concerned about ensuring that students get quality education, then we have no option but to support each other. So we were planning. We planned. It's a plan, of course, but at the same time with a lot of respect to the current employer.
Okay.
And we still remain very good friends.
Perfect. Now, having sat down the four of you and having seen the gap that you guys wanted to fill, mm-hmm. in the market, now having thought of starting this college, because a lot of people always have the fear of partnership. A lot of people always have the fear of coming up together and starting a business, though it has some pros. But now, after coming together, what was the first thing that you do now as you're going forward to start this institution? Yeah, we had to ensure that in as much as we are friends, mm-hmm. and in as much as we have the passion to deliver, mm-hmm. we needed to come up with ground rules. Okay? What were the rules? To ensure that we have very clear partnership agreement, mm-hmm. that this is my role, mm-hmm. this is your role, and this is your role, so that we have clear demarcation of roles and responsibilities, mm-hmm. with regard to how we are going to run the college. Mm-hmm. Remember, we are also lecturers, but at the same time we are administrators, yeah. And each one of us has distinct roles, mm-hmm. And we also agreed to disagree. Partnership is so challenging. Mm-hmm. But if you are friends, if you understand the weaknesses and the strengths of others, you can complement mm-hmm. the weaknesses, mm-hmm. of your colleague, and he at the same time can also do the same. Mm-hmm. So if we agree to disagree, but the underlying factor is to provide quality, is to deliver our vision. Mm-hmm. So the vision that we had for this college still lives on, mm-hmm. irrespective of any form of disagreements that are always very common in partnerships. Okay. Yes, exactly. Now you guys contributed to pull, or let me say pulling of capital to start this particular institution. But just a question before we proceed. Given a chance, can you still work together?
Exactly, 100%.
Okay.
Absolutely, we're still very good friends. We relate a lot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now you've gotten this capital to start this institution. You've identified the location. The first day you've resigned, all of you, the four of you, you're now here. How was the picture starting this institution? Because now we see the big institution that it is. But tell us about the inception.
Charting new territories is super hard. It's like crazy because one, you've like lost employment technically, okay? And you are not really sure, you can never be certain that this thing is going to work. But you've already burned the bridges, right?
Yeah, true.
You are unemployed. You are getting to a situation where you do not have 100% guarantee that is going to succeed. Yes, you've pulled resources together, and the resources were so meager. But the passion that we had, the vision that we had, drove us. But it was really hard. Sometimes we could not pay rent. People don't know. Sometimes we could not pay ourselves. Sometimes we could go home and wonder whether we made the right decision. But the moment such thoughts come into mind, you immediately replace them with the vision that you have, not just for yourself, with the vision that you have for the many lives you are going to change.
Okay.
That is what kept us going.
Okay. Now let's talk about now the rules of management, because here you have like two critical issues. Number one, you are running an institution as partners, and in Eldoret we've seen colleges coming and even some closing down in a big number, because sometimes back we had a good number of colleges, not compared to what we have currently. What do you think are some of the principles that has helped you as partners to keep this institution for a good number of years, up to the point that we have good number of people celebrating you and some are working in different places?
Relationships. Relationships in three ways. Relationship among the founders, very critical. Keeping communications open, respecting each other, and ensuring that we have a seamless, effective working conditions. Secondly, and most importantly, relationships with the end users, with the customers. We understand their pains. We understand, for example, how difficult CPA is. It's not easy. So we understand their pains. We understand what they actually want from us, and we respond accordingly. So we maintain that relationship with our customers, who are the students, to ensure that we try as much as possible within our capacity to deliver what it is that they came for, what it is that they're paying. They're the ones that put food on the table. They're the ones that write the check. When I write and sign the check, it's not me, it's them. So if you ignore them, then who is going to sign your check? So that relationship must be sound. Another relationship with other partners, like the environment, like the banks, the financial institutions, the parents. Sometimes parents come to the offices. Relationship with the outside environment. So relationship is key. And secondly, is about fidelity and financial accountability. You cannot use more than what you receive. That is the most, for lack of a better word, stupid thing. You receive $1 million, you want to spend 1,500,000. Where will you get money to pay the employees? Where will you get money to expand? Where will you get money to provide the services that are required? So that, to me, those two principles are very important.
Okay. Now, being partners also, I believe, because knowing about the formation of groups and working teamwork and what have you. Now we talk about, there is always about forming there is about norming, and there is something known as storming. And coming to your issue and making decisions, sometimes I'm sure conflict arises. And it's something that any organization, especially partners or directors, will. Have you ever gotten to a point whereby you disagree and feel like you need to do away with this?
Yeah, there's moments where, few though, there are many moments where we feel we are doing the right thing and we are up there and we really say, yeah, this is the best thing that ever happened to us. But I would be lying if I said that everything sails through. I may have a different opinion from what my colleague or my colleagues have. Even though I strongly really feel that that should be the case. But I have to understand their thinking as well. I cannot put myself at the pedestal to think that I'm the one who should control this. That won't work. There are situations where I think like, man, this is really crazy. But as I said, I always go back to what actually brought us together. It is the alignment of passion, vision, and the understanding that we have to give more than what we were actually called to. So we really remain faithful to the vision that we have.
But what do you think now is your principle in solving your conflicts?
The principle in solving the conflict is just understanding. Understanding. If you feel so strongly about a certain point, and your colleagues, for example, feel differently, you may want to either persuade them. If it actually, there are situations where one of us could have a different idea from the three of us, but if he's able to actually explain it and let us understand, and then we can say, wow, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we were wrong. And it's good to acknowledge that. And that has happened a lot of times, and we've had to do that to solve those conflicts, which are always common. If you don't have conflict when you are in a partnership, then that is not growth. It's not growing. Yeah.
Now, having you sitting down, the four of you, and you have to vote, you have to. How do you break the tie?
It's crazy. Yeah, there's a situation where that question arises. How do you break the tie? Perhaps the two of us want this decision to be made. Other two feel against it. Then breaking the tie becomes something that is so hard. We have to leave that decision for a moment until three of us are convinced, or until all of us are convinced. But we have rarely do we have a situation where it requires voting, because we stand true to what actually brought us together for the benefit of ourselves, obviously, and for the benefit of the clientele that we serve. So, yeah.
Operating now on the level of a private institution vis-a-vis public institutions, sometimes we have these conflicts in terms of policies that affects you as private institutions, and then we have that favors public institutions. What do you think is the future of private colleges?
That's a really great question. We have competition, not just from private institutions, but as much competition, in fact, from public institutions. Why? Because the government supports public institutions in terms of providing the remuneration for the teachers, for the lecturers, supporting the students in terms of fees, government funding, and also attracting them in terms of for example, I'll just mention one. Currently, we do not have a lot of numbers that existed 10 years ago. Why? Not that people are not studying accounting, but the bar to join the university has been lowered, and that has a negative effect to the enrollment of not only King's College of Accountancy, but all all private institutions that depend on those students who perhaps did not attain the university grade. However, we are very happy by with the funding system now, because we as King's College of Accountancy, we are actually supporting our children. We are actually accredited as an institution that is providing bursaries, that is providing support to to students joining us through the Higher Education Loans Board. We are affiliated with CASNEB, and CASNEB, through CASNEB, our students are able to be supported through Higher Education Loans Board, so they can apply and still get funding. So that hurdle, we are happy to say that we have already jumped it, and our students are being supported. We've received several communication that our students have, many students that applied through the Education Loans Board have been awarded support. Also, our college also gets our students in the college also gets funding from the county governments and from the CDF. They are funded through the bursaries and by the CDF and the county government. So we cannot say that we are short in that respect. However, the policies, as you said, there are some policies that really favor the public institutions for reasons, of course, for obvious reasons. The interest of the government to ensure that all students that complete high school are supported to join technical institutions, whether at the local level and at the same time at the national level. So those policies have adverse effect to colleges like us, private institutions, but of course they benefit the population that we serve, and it is, I would say, a win-win situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, from now college to primary, an academy, and that you chose to run as a sole company, right? Why? But now you'll answer that after this break. Then we respond and now talk about the academy, talk of Maryland Islands Academy, right?
Maryland Center School.
Oh, Center School. Yeah, we'll be coming to it shortly after this particular break. But before we go to our break, just to go through some of our responses from our guest tonight. Mwaura Yaye saying, salute Amazon Global Tune in on our favorite show. Big up. We have Ken Boyd, salute to him. Abigail Chipleting, my principal, King's College of Accountancy. Nice to see you, sir, representing Dave Emasi saying, I'm watching from Kitale. My mentor, I'm happy to hear from you, Mwalemus. Steven Muhasia is saying, Simon Wamu, my mentor, my boss, watching live from Nairobi, and your story is an inspiration to many. We also have Francis Awe who is saying, watching live from Kakuma. Kipchumba Mutai saying, the great Simon Wamu, the tax tutor who mentored us back then. We are who and where we are through him. Listening to him speak of life journey. This is so inspiring. Wanjira Mwangi saying, my primary school science teacher. Okay, salute to you, sir. I think that is what also you also mentioned. Greetings, Simon Wamu, and the O's. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great mentor and also a leader. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your comments coming and also your regards. But also don't forget to share your questions that you wish to ask our guest tonight, pertaining education, and also talk of private colleges, and also you'll be now digging and also want to learn about also running an academy. Keep your questions coming, and don't forget to share this conversation for us to know that you're watching, and also someone to know that you're watching, and for them to be part of this conversation. We are going for a very short break. Then in a few minutes, we'll be back with this amazing conversation. See you.
I'm the principal of King's College of Accountancy. I've also invested my time in other education initiatives. For example, I run an academy, a private school that is located close to the John's town, that is Maryland Center School. And King's College of Accountancy is basically an accounting college specialized in certified public accountants, and we've been in existence for the past 10 years. And we are located in Eldoret, specifically behind Hotel Conflict, in a building known as Cyrillic Plaza, second floor, all through to fourth floor. Offer a variety of courses, including accounting technician's diploma, and we also offer certified public accountants, that is CPA. We also offer other courses like certified secretaries. We also offer a certified investment and financial analyst, that is CFA. Apart from these courses, we also offer other supplementary courses like accounting packages and the normal application packages. I've also founded an non-governmental organization that also ensures that provision of access to quality education and other educational opportunities is provided. My name is Simon Wong. I'm the principal
to this amazing conversation that we're having tonight. Our guest tonight is none other but Mr. Simon Wamu, who is the director and also a partner in King's College of Accountancy. I was mixing up college and the academy. And also he is also the founder of Maryland Center. And talking now about Maryland, this is an institution that we began after King's College of Accountancy. And from college now to academy, what is it that made you shift and choose now to venture into this?
So, as I said, growing up, let me just say education saved me. And the only thing I will do is to ensure that I create a space where I play a significant role in education. Okay, so having participated as a teacher, as a lecturer, and as a manager of an institution, I felt that it was time that I then cascaded my knowledge to empower small children, because I believe education does not start from college. Education actually starts when the child is so young. And investing my energies and experiences to children, I felt a very strong inspiration. Because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Given the circumstances under which I grew up, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I should be frustrated, desperate. Somewhere out there, cursing how the world is shaping up. But I wanted to ensure that, because I realized that education was a transformative tool, not for just an individual, but for the economy. I wanted to ensure that that child who is like me, who does not have an opportunity like to get quality education, establish a space where even those children who do not have that a lot of money could still get quality education at their cost. And that's why I decided to start a low-cost private school close to where I stay, so that I could provide this amazing opportunity to as many children as possible who would otherwise have only contented with a public education system where the class sizes are very high. In public schools, without disrespect, the classes, a teacher could be handling 50 children. So by me introducing or founding a school which could offload some of the children from those public schools and still provide this quality education at a cost that is almost similar to the public school, then that would make me fulfill, would satisfy me. At the same time also putting food on the table. So that was my feeling, that I had a moral responsibility, given my background in education, and education having served me, to also provide an opportunity for that child.
Okay. Now, when you're doing now identifying where the school is located and also your target market, when you're doing your survey and when you're doing your checklist, data analysis, and also collecting data before venturing into this kind of business, what are some of the things that you considered in identifying the location and also choosing to venture into this business?
I'll say the location was a bit easy because the first school, I located it close to where I lived, because it is an area that I know the demographics, I know the living standards of people, I understand the terrain, I know some of them. So it was so easy for me to then say, why can I locate my school here to give back to that society within which that is raising me at that point, but at the same time also provide opportunities for these children to get quality education. So it was so super easy because of the area that I knew for years. Secondly, venturing into this space was not easy as any business, because you have to let people trust you. People don't give you business. People don't give the school the business, for example. They actually give you. They bring children to your school because of you, not because of anybody else. So the trust that you instill in people, to trust that this individual here has the capacity to provide this service to me or to my children, is very important.
Okay. Now, how expensive was it? Because when somebody sees this academy now running, somebody thinks that you had millions, but how easy was it for you to start?
I said it was not easy, and at the same time it wasn't hard because of two reasons. It wasn't easy because, of course, you have to have capital for rent, for paying teachers, because you start off with children who are not even paying or paying so little, and you have teachers to pay, you have rent to pay. Perhaps the place where you are, you have located your business is not your own. You have the rent to pay, you have teachers to pay, and all other related expenses. So it is hard to some degree because of the capital expenditure that you have to commit. But at the same time, it was easy because it was a space that I played in for some time. Remember, I just said I was a teacher. I was an untrained academy teacher. So I knew exactly what needed to be done and what needed not to be done for it to be successful at that level. So I already understood it. So it was easy to the extent of my experience, and it was also hard to the extent of the capital infrastructure that you have to commit.
Okay. For an academy, what are some of the regulations that one has to meet before starting?
Of course,
an
you
academy?
have to get registered by the ministry. You cannot handle people's children without the valid registrations, and also the county must know it. You must pay the licenses, and you must also prove before those registrations and legal requirements are fulfilled. You have to first of all ensure that you have laid down the infrastructure that is needed as per the requirements of the regulating bodies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, given a chance, would you add more colleges or more academies?
I would add more. that's a tough question. Let me respond it this way. The financial part of it, I would actually add a college, okay? Because of for the academy, you have to handle many children to get more income, especially the kind of academies that I run, because they're not super high class, okay? Because I believe that the children who do not have that a lot of money to go to expensive schools have a right to also receive quality education. So I operate under the low cost private school space. But for the college, you could have few students, and because the fees is a little bit higher, then you are likely to get more money. But it also depends on different factors. As I said, the amount you charge for the academy, the expenses that you have to incur, and stuff like that. So it is a really tough question. But I would go to if from my experience and my growing up, as I said, and my vision, I think I would add more academies everywhere. Why? Because of how I feel where the education is founded. You have to create a strong foundation so that these children, when they then acquire knowledge relating to college, they already have a strong foundation. So I would go to academies and even pre-primary, those little kids, more than the adults, because of how important that stage is in someone's education journey.
Okay, now talking about having challenges in terms of, let me say, turnover and what have you in primary, how do you mitigate now the running cost and maintaining? Do you think it can compromise on quality of what you offer?
It can only compromise quality if your focus is about money. Okay? It's good, of course, let's face it, granted, we are in business to make money. That's why I call myself as a social entrepreneur rather than a business person. A social entrepreneur, for starters, is a person who identifies a challenge within the community. Okay, like poverty, like lack of water, like sanitation problem, stuff like that. Those challenges that affect the community, and you create an innovative solution to solve those challenges, but at the same time benefiting from that kind of process in terms of them paying for the services, but at the cost that they can afford. In the process, you accomplish two things. You solve the problem for them, and you get rewarded for that service. That's how I consider myself.
Okay, now in the current day, what other than financial challenges, what do you think are some of other challenges that you face in running?
Other than financial challenges, of course, there are some challenges that we do face, like of course, the turnover, as you said. It is so easy with the kind of the population that we deal with, and there's a lot of competition. Okay, you find that I have a heart to provide for this service for these children, right? But at the same time, I have to pay the teachers. So you find yourself in a situation where would you send the kids away because they've not paid? And when you send the kids away, how will they learn? Okay? But if you don't again send them away, perhaps they may not pay. And if they don't pay, this teacher or some expenses like rent won't be paid. So you find that when you send them away, they are likely to go to the next school, which sometimes charges less than you charge, or they may go to a public school. In that case, you are not only losing the income, But most importantly, you are losing that child because you believe you have the best opportunity or the best capacity to impart, to inspire that child beyond academics. And gone are the days when education is measured on cognitive skills, on acquisition of knowledge. The world is changing rapidly, and the only people who are going to survive and be successful within this space are people who have other skills other than acquisition of knowledge, skills relating to critical thinking skills. That's why I try as much as possible, both at college and both at the school, to teach these values. Myself, because I come from a sustainability background. I did my master's in sustainability, so I understand how important sustainability is. Creating values, ensuring that these children, as they grow up, they have the values of sustainability, like empathy, values of critical thinking, problem solving, so that they do not only focus on acquisition of knowledge, but they also know how to relate with people within the environment. It is a tragedy that you find somebody scoring so well academically, A's and very clean reports in terms of academic, but this person cannot communicate. This person cannot relate with others. This person cannot show empathy. Okay, and those are what we call transferable skills, which are very critical to the changing, to address the current challenges affecting the world. And I myself understand how important is that, and I try as much as possible to inculcate those skills to the children and even to my students at college.
Okay. Now, you are a product of 844.
Exactly.
Your child is now a product of CBC. Which product would you prefer between the two? You as a product of 844 or your child as a product of CBC?
I would say I would prefer the CBC model based on what I've just explained, because it focuses on practicals. It focuses on ensuring that the children have hands-on experience. I could have some reservations in the manner in which it was implemented, but I 100% agree with the nuts and bolts of that curriculum, because I'm that person who understands how important to teach students about their place in society. It's not just about acquisition of knowledge. It's about ensuring that you apply that knowledge, and what a better way to apply it than to do it practically. So yeah, I would choose CBC.
Having done your postgraduate in sustainability and in connection with the same, do you think CBC is sustainable, and what is the future of CBC, considering the government policies and the government will to support and propel this model of education to the next level?
Two things. The sustainability of CBC is dependent on the kind of people who drive it. As I said, granted, it's a good thing. Implementation is a different thing. If the people who are charged with the responsibility of implementing, from the top, at the policy level, to the implementers, the teachers, if it's done, if the entire value chain is conducted in the best way possible, it's going to be sustainable. But it could as well get into trouble if in case the people that are charged with the responsibility of implementing it do not really understand how important it is, and they do not have the technical competence to drive it forward.
Okay. Now, I say our time is much spent, but now shifting, because you have interest on the society, and what I got from you clearly, it's for you to run that center, that academic center. you're keen to give back to the society. You're keen to impact the society. And now you're running an NGO. What is the connection? And is this the same reason that bring the birth of this particular NGO, Erui?
Yeah. At this point, am I allowed to take a sip?
Yeah, please proceed. Okay.
So the entire conversation is about education, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was inspired to work in the education space based on the challenges I faced through getting education. And as I said, I was fortunate to get an education. And it is the education that I got that propelled me to where I am, okay? So I asked myself, during COVID, schools were closed, and I literally had very little to do. The college wasn't running, the schools were closed, and everything was on standstill. And the children, I discovered the children were experiencing what we call the learning loss. And at that point, I said to myself, when we reopen after COVID, to what extent will that situation have affected children, especially children? I decided to start thinking about how can I be of value once we resumed. And not just once we resumed, but during that period. I sat down, drafted, came up with some of the permutations. When the children will reopen, they will experience learning loss. I think this program would be better suited. I can't run that program in school. I can't run that program in college. So I, coupled with another reason, the school, I can only support very few children, perhaps at most 300, 400, my capacity, or even 1,000, 2,000. But that's a very insignificant number to what I actually want to impact society. I wanted to create a dent in the education space, a good dent, something that was significant. And I said, my earlier point, how can I create space for millions of children to get quality education? I decided that the best platform was to form an organization that would provide more opportunities to millions of children beyond my area, beyond the place I can walk, beyond Kenya. So I said the only platform will be a non-profit organization, because with that we could then seek resources, fundraise, to then provide those services. So I decided to form a non-profit organization. Approached a few of my friends in the education space who understood how things run, told them my vision. Some accepted, some did not have time, because you see, when you are a director of an organization like an NGO, you are never paid. People don't know that. You volunteer your time and expertise. So some did not accept. For those that accepted, we forged ahead. And we are so fortunate that since 2021, when the organization was founded, we have ensured, we have reached more than 6,000 children, both in school and both in the community, and helped them in the various programs that we run, move from one place to another, transformed the way they think, transformed the education journey. Because I do not share the popular opinion that those children who are bright, who are needy and bright, are the only ones that should be supported. Do we ever come to think about those people we label poor in academics? Have we ever asked ourselves what actually leads to their poverty in terms of learning? Why do we then focus on that child who, without disrespect, I also support those bright ones. But I'm just saying, what's the space of those who are not considered as bright?
Okay.
Are they left? Because so many organizations, so many individuals prefer to support those bright, needy students. And I have no issue with that. The only issue I have, what about these ones? The reason is these children never got the opportunity when they were growing up. They were not well stimulated to actually solidify the foundations of learning. And when they start school, they're not ready. And acquiring that knowledge becomes so difficult. That's why, and I'm really passionate about this topic, that's why we have a program and which has been funded to run for the next 1.5 years. We are focusing on children aged 0 to 3 years before that child joins school. Why? Because that's where the brain development takes the majority of brain, the highest percentage. It's proved scientifically. 70-80% of brain capacity is formed when a child is 1,000 years and below, 1,000 days and below.
Now, to this child 3 years and below, how do you support them?
Good, great question. We reach and improve the capacity of our main agents of change for that child. We don't get to see that child, but we see the caregiver. The caregiver could be the mother. Most of them are the mothers. The caregiver could be the father. The caregiver could be the person with whom the child is left when the parent goes to work. We empower them with knowledge on responsive caregiving. Very critical. How do you respond to the child? We empower them with knowledge on nutrition, adequate nutrition. At their level, it doesn't have to be expensive. We empower them with knowledge on play-based learning while they're still young. So that builds their cognitive ability, it builds their emotional capacity, and it ensures that this child is ready for school. And this child will be a force for good when she or he grows up. So we empower these caregivers in the community with knowledge on this whole area of the nurturing care.
Do you think because we concentrate too much about as soon as this child goes to school, and now we think that is where, talk about now play group, we think that is now,
and that's wrong.
That is where this child gets support. But we forget now what you're mentioning. Do you think we have a gap?
That's a very, very big gap. Because if science is telling us, and we have no reason to doubt, that the attitudes, the behaviors, and the attitudes, the behaviors, and the values of this child are formed when the child is 0 to 3 years. Why should we wait until that child is 4 years to go to school? Is when we start now concentrating on him or her. We have lost it. So we must rethink about that. The education system must ensure that it empowers the communities, the caregivers, and everybody involved in raising up the child, so that we do not forget this very critical window of opportunity.
Okay, given a chance now to speak directly to the mothers or the caregivers or the fathers, naturally the parents and the caregivers and the guardians of these children from 0 to 3, what is it that you can tell them?
That's a very important stage. That's a very important stage. If you're listening to me and you are a caregiver of any sort, a caregiver could be a teacher, a caregiver could be you. It's actually you, it's me. Anybody who has a responsibility to take care of these children. Whether you are a mother, you are the father, you are a person to whom this children is left with, a sister. You have to understand that that is the stage that determines pretty much how this child grows, the values that this child attains. How this child will behave in future is pretty much formed at this level here. So would you, with that knowledge, would you then wait until that child goes to school and then you start now imparting, raising and stimulating the child? We will be doing a disservice to these children. That's why the easiest way to eliminate poverty through education is to ensure that we intervene at the most important stage of life, which is 0 to 3 years, even before this child steps.
Okay. Now, in a nutshell, because we are seeing that we are almost close to the top of the hour.
Yes.
Now, you've talked, this is an NGO.
Yes.
There is always a question, or there is always a confusion between talk about now an NGO, which is an non-governmental organization, talk about a CBO, which is a community-based organization, and a foundation. What are the differences, and also as you talk about their formations?
So, a non-governmental organization obviously is a non-profit. It exists to raise funds from individuals, from corporations, from institutions that care about certain problems or challenges in the society. And that is the same issue with the CBOs. The only difference is that the NGO is allowed to work a bigger geographical area than the CBO, which is confined within a specific geographical place. It could be a county, for example, or it could be a division. A foundation is just like an NGO. The only thing that perhaps is different is the management and the structure of how it is formed, but both exist as avenues to raise funds to solve a particular problem in the society.
Okay. What is it that you think are your achievements as far as the NGO is concerned? My achievements as far as the NGO is concerned, of course, is about the people that we impart knowledge to, the people that we impart, which are the children. My success is having ensured that we reach and impact, we improve the learning outcomes of more than 5,000 children in a span of 2 years. It's not very easy. And another achievement, which is so big, is to realize how important these caregivers are to the development, not only for the child, but also to the community as a whole. Okay. Now, as we wrap this conversation, because we wish we could have more of this, but now having all these, running the college, running the academy, now running the NGO, how does your day look like? Tough. Tough, but easy. Okay? Yeah. I do not, I'm not that kind of a person who will go micromanage my employees. I have at my disposal people who understand their craft. Okay? So I give a lot, I delegate a lot, because there's no way you can do all those things. I delegate and ensure that these people run it. Remember, I was away for 1 year. I went for studies abroad. But all these things ran so well. When I came back, everything was okay. It means that they do not really need me to be there, physically at least. But remotely, I have to ensure that everything is working at every stage. So my day is, of course, busy, but I also find time to rest, and also to be with my children and my friends as well, and to ensure that everything runs smoothly. Okay. Yeah. Okay, as I go back to some of the comments before you close down, and also for you to give us a closing remark, and also I would wish in your closing remark to mention one financial crime that businessmen and women make as they run their businesses, being a trainer as well as a practicing entrepreneur, and also a social entrepreneur for that matter. So as we wait for your closing remark, want to appreciate our viewers. Leshkia says that our tax ninja, this is very specific. Lesha has called you a ninja, our tax ninja back then. O King says, I'm proud of this guy, a great mentor. I'm who I am because the trust and belief in my abilities. Kudos, Redemptor Titus. is saying that Simon Wamu, my boss and a great leader, your mentorship and guidance is invaluable. We have Deno Ongendo, who is saying, watching live from Naivasha, my principal at King's College of Accountancy, Eldoret. May God bless you for the good work that you're doing. We have Billy Ekaran, who is saying, my taxation guru at King's College of Accountancy. Go, Mr. Simon Wamu. We have also Ejore, who is saying, my mentor, good work. Mr. Wamu. We have Dave Emase, who is saying, I'm proud to be a professional accountant from King's College of Accountancy and a business in Eldoret, a school of high level of professionalism on accountancy. Also have Christmas Berma, who is saying, following live from Kasarani. Also have Florence Mutua, who is saying, good work, my director. God bless you. Amos Ouma, well articulated, sir. We have Kibarbet Edwin, who is saying, what is your take on devolving, that is the devolution of education? I think that one also you'll talk about it as you wrap up. What are the challenges of running a private school college as far as devolving of education is considered? I think you had mentioned something about the same. And then also we have Scott Stanley, who is saying, my question to Wamu, you haven't spoke about the book, it is and where it is sold, and then also is you are my former boss. How can you are my former boss? How can we collaborate to give back to the community? Steve Osumo, I'm proud of this man, Simon Wamu. You are a great leader. All the best. A great mentor from Shakos Gay, and also Ewoy John is saying that, do you have a plan to expand King's College of Accountancy to different counties and many others that will be responding after this conversation? Please, if you can respond to those few questions that we've been asked, and also give us a closing remark.
Well, first of all, I'm extremely humbled by the messages that I'm getting from most of them, my students, my friends. It is a show of humility and recognition of the little support that I give to them. I always live by the maxim that it is always pleasurable to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. Okay? Planting trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. And listening to them, I really am humbled and really appreciate that. There's some questions that have been raised there. I would love to respond to a few that I could remember. About collaboration, giving back to the society, that is what I like so much. And I will also invite anyone who, in any area that I've touched, and they feel sufficiently philanthropic to support the work that we do, especially in giving back to the society, they can come on board, reach out to me through Facebook, through my contacts, and we can always see how we can drive this journey together, because leaving a legacy is so important. I also want to respond to a question raised by I can't remember most of them, but my parting shot would be the work that we do is so important that we have to be driven by vision. It's so challenging sometimes when somebody looks at this guy, he has done this and this. Most of them associate them with success without knowing the challenges that they have faced. It is the vision that drives you, that ensures that you actually achieve what you achieve. I'm not sitting here to say that I have achieved all that I wanted to achieve. I'm still, success is actually a journey. It's never a destination. And success sometimes is not measured by the amount of wealth that you accommodate or that you accumulate, Success, I believe success is measured by the impact that you create to the society and that legacy that you leave behind after you are long gone. So that is the maxim that I live with And that is what I believe. And if that is the driving force, you are never stressed. You have the independence. Someone said that a really powerful man is one that jealously guards his most precious resources. That is the independence, his independence and the ability to maneuver. Simply put, having the capacity to identify options and having the ability and the propensity to exercise them. And that is what drives me.
Thank you. Your book?
Oh, my book. Good. So I wrote a book. People, I know most of, I think it's 10 years ago, 10 years have lapsed. I wrote a book, and guess what? It was on education. It was, I think it was called The Nerve of Teaching and Learning, and it was describing actually my journey, part of what I've said, and it is. I think it. I sold it myself in libraries as well, but I still have copies. If one wants them, can get back to me, and we'll have a copy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Wamu, for coming through to this show. I think the session has been very impactful and also very brief. He didn't expect to be this brief, but because the nuggets has been quite amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up and also for accepting our invite. Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, I think it's been a wrap, and thank you for always coming through and sharing your responses, your comments, and also the questions that you always engage to our guest every now and then. Don't forget that this is a conversation that always comes to you every Tuesday from the same time, 7:30 to 9, and we always look forward to bring you amazing guests. And also, if you wish to see anybody or somebody on this particular seat, on this particular show, please ensure that you comment also by sharing his name and also his contacts if possible, for us to have an opportunity to bring him on this hot seat. For tonight, we are so grateful for the shares, and specifically and singling out, we want to appreciate Kalenjin Online for sharing this particular episode, and also Lemiso Media House for sharing this particular episode. We are so grateful, and many others that we've seen sharing all our episode. We are really indebted to you. We are looking forward to have this conversation again next week with another amazing guest. You can't afford to miss this conversation. Come next week, same time, same place. I was your host, Dan. See you next week. God bless you and have a good night. Thank you.
I'm the principal of King's College of Accountancy. I've also invested my time in other education initiatives. For example, I run an academy, a private school that is located close to the Doris town, that is Maryland Center School. And King's College of Accountancy is basically an accounting college specialized in certified public accountants, and we've been in existence for the past 10 years. And we are located in Eldoret, specifically behind Hotel Conflict, in a building known as Cyrillic Plaza, second floor, all through to fourth floor. Offer a variety of courses, including accounting technician's diploma. And we also offer certified public accountants, that is CPA. We also offer other courses like certified secretaries. We also offer a certified investment and financial analyst, that is CFA. Apart from these courses, we also offer other supplementary courses like accounting packages and the normal application packages. I've also founded a non-governmental organization that also ensures that provision of access to quality education and other educational opportunities is provided. My name is Simon Wamu. I'm the principal of King's College of Accountancy. I've also invested my time in other education initiatives. For example, I run an academy, a private school that is located close to the tourist town, that is Maryland Center School. And King's College of Accountancy is basically an accounting college specialized in certified public accountants, and we've been in existence for the past 10 years. And we are located in Eldoret, specifically behind Hotel Conflict, in a building.
Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories.